Hello everyone. I am Clone 5, and sorry, for the lack of uploads. I've been trying to draw all this and stuff. But, this is an idea that I've had for a while, and it is, how would One Finger Sukuna, from Jujutsu Kaisen, fare against C-Pop 1 and Co. during the Genner arc? Now you all probably already know the answer to that question, but this is just a hypothetical thing that I have here. So in this hypothetical, One Finger Sukuna is going to drop into Universe 1. It's going to drop into specifically Genner Delve over here, and then he just immediately starts fighting and killing. Before we get on with that though, let's go over the power scaling. So, One Finger Sukuna is comparable to a finger bearer, and he is city block level. Finger bearer is also city block level. Here is my source. Go to this site, it's on the fandom page. Go to this site, it's the First Battle Wiki. They calculate several characters of any fiction, really. So yeah. High tiers of the Genner arc are small building level, specifically Toledo, which would make him classified as a grade 2 curse spirit or sorcerer. The mid tiers are wall to street level, or street to wall level, and that would be about grade 4 to 3. The mid tiers specifically being C-Pop 1 and Takamiya. The low tiers are below average level, or below average human level, to athlete level, and that could be anything from the survivors of Takamiya's group to Kamayori and Tim, which Kamayori and Tim are literal kids, so of course they'd be below average human level. So yeah. So let's say Sukuna. So Sukuna teleports into Genner Delve. Immediately, C-Pop 1 has his sights set on him, because one of C-Pop 1's abilities is that he can basically sense souls. He can sense a location of people nearby, or he can sense locations of beings with souls in a specific radius. So yeah. And he immediately senses him, realizes that Sukuna is a bigger fucking threat than Toledo, and immediately goes on the offensive. But also, Sukuna makes a remark that there's no curse energy here, and that's fair, because, your universe, Universe 1, does not have curse energy. There is no such thing as curse energy here. Why the fuck would there be curse energy in places that are not JJK related, or Jujutsu Kaisen related? Also, here's Takamiya and the kids. Here's some survivors. And yeah, you can see that C-Pop 1's about to go on the offensive here. And yeah, he pulls his sword, right? But, because Sukuna's speed heavily, and I mean heavily outclasses C-Pop 1's own speed, he immediately perception blitzes him on the spot, and immediately forces him into his do not succumb skill. Let's also go over, before we get any further, let's go over the powers, right? We already know about K-Con Blast. It's more like not molecule based. I think it's cellular based, right? Or it's a really small It's really small. Think about it like a printer when it scans things. And then it just sends little KCOM blast particles onto its, similar sized targets. And if those targets are not strong enough, then, well, they die. Then they're destroyed. Sorry, I can't speak there. That's basically what KCOM blast is, and it's at a range and it can't be seen. KCOM blast isn't going to be used anyways in this hypothetical because CPOP1 is far too weak to even use it against him. Sukuna's cleave and dismantle. Let's separate it between cleave and dismantle. Cleave works on biological life forms, like living things, and it is a hyper-adapting attack. You can read the panel where Sukuna explains his attack. It's basically like a mini Maharaga. Like Sukuna's cleave breaks down. Not break down as in literally breaking down. It means it is decoding its opponent's durability at that moment, whether it be the natural durability and or the cursed energy reinforcement durability that's applied. There are various things that affect the adaptability that I have theorized, and it is mainly just the outputs and cursed energy reserves that affect the damage and adaptability. But yes, it is a hyper-adapting attack. Sukuna also has other curse techniques like or weaponry like Malevolent Shrine, which is his domain. However, I'm pretty sure if hypothetically he were to use his domain at one finger, it would be like about 30 seconds. It would be 30 seconds or 15 seconds, a very small amount of time. And after he uses it, he would be gassed at that point of cursed energy. But his physical stats would be boosted, if I recall correctly, because he just popped his domain. There's also the chance of him landing a Black Flash, but since we've never seen him land a Black Flash in any form except for his true form during the Shinjuku arc, and also his Meguna form when he was fighting Gojo, we would not be using Black Flashes anywhere in the story. At least I think he used a Black Flash. I might be wrong on that, so let's just only keep it at true form for now. As for speeds, Sukuna has subsonic speeds, right? Faster than the human eye. Whereas CPOP1 has like average human speed somewhere around there. He's not very fast, he's a fat fuck, and his speed will only be boosted by KCOM Blast if he uses it on his feet. Now, CPOP1 immediately gets one tapped, or two tapped actually. Yes, the KCOM Blast wouldn't be effective, it would be too weak. Sukuna's durability is city block level, inner durability. As for inner durability, this is a thing that I have hypothesized for a while, or that I've thought about for a while, not necessarily hypothesized, that's a wrong thing. But if you only train your outer layers, then your outer layers are going to have more durability than like things like internal organs and stuff. Bones could also technically have city block level. Sukuna's bones could also technically have city block level durability, at least in various places where you do conditioning training. So I'm allowing bones to, have city block level durability. That seems logical enough. But yeah, no, see, literally nothing would have happened. It would have been a waste of health and KCOM points. But here we have Takamiya trying to swoop in and trying to attack Sukuna. And then here is what's meant to be C-Pop 1 trying to move and use his sword, but all Sukuna needs to do at this point is just punch C-Pop 1 once to kill him. And yeah, now he is dead. Now he would be dead for about 24 hours because of his revival skill, and the fact that he's a deity. But Sukuna would just grab Takamiya's sword. But Takami also would have Ghost Flame at this point. And so but then Sukuna just performs a cleave on Takamiya's arm and just cuts it off. And then all Sukuna would need to do is just use cleave on his head, and then just boom, Takami is dead. Because Takami is barely even a grade 2, semi-grade 2 sorcerer, if we were to compare him to sorcerers. And yeah, see, literally no damage. Even with Ghost Flame, no damage. Too weak. Now if there were large building level attacks, then yeah, that would be something, but no. So, here's Takamiya's group coming in to try and swarm Sukuna to kill him, but all Sukuna would need to do is just perception blitz the fuck out of them and just kill them, whether it be using cleaves or just straight up brute force. See? And then, yeah, all Sukuna would need to do is just perform a split-second domain expansion to just kill the rest of them. Also, this is important for later. But yeah, here's all the bits and pieces. And then the last survivor of Takamiya's group, besides the children, tries to give them enough time to run away. So he's trying to go and sacrifice himself to save Kamayori and Tim. Sukuna just has enough attack potency to just punch holes through things way stronger than human bodies. So he kills them quickly, and then just I'm not gonna draw that, but let's face it, Sukuna isn't sparing Kamayori or Tim. Now, what if Teledio had come across Sukuna right after this? Well, hang on, let's hold that thought, because yeah, I mean, Sukuna could have just offed Kamayori and Tim right here, and then just went back and killed this survivor. Anyways, his speed far exceeds that of almost everyone that was shown at this point in the Genner arc. Now, finally, the strongest fighter we have here for the Genner arc is Teledio, minus a few other people, but I'm not covering them in this video. Teledio, the vampire. So, Sukuna turns, and then Teledio is immediately upon him, because if for those who don't know, Teledio is closer to subsonic speeds, or is subsonic himself. And yeah, he does do have a crater. He does cause a little bit of a crater or some ground cracking underneath him, because Teledio at this point would be going all out. Yeah, I should have stated that. Yeah, Teledio goes all out in this. So yeah. And yeah, hypothetically, Sukuna might make a remark like this. He wouldn't outright call Teledio strong, he'd just call him tougher than the rest. If he were to call him strong, it would be because Teledio would have the power of a grade 1, if he were fighting this version of Sukuna, or yeah. Alright. But also, now at this point, Sukuna cannot use his, like, curse techniques because, you know, he just pulled off a domain expansion. He's at 1/20th of his maximum power. That would also mean 1/20th of his curse energy reserves and output and whatnot. Like, it would likely be pretty low. Even though, like, he casted his domain for, like, a split second, I'm just keeping it safe and, like, putting him on a cooldown. Even then, like, you know, we all know that Sukuna's gonna win this fight. But here you see these, like, the ground breaking up right here, all over here. Those are zombies. We all know zombies at this point in the story are wall level because of their various limb-tearing feats. So here you see Sukuna, here you see some zombies. And Sukuna can literally easily just pulverize them. So yeah, Sukuna over here just perception blitzes through the zombies because he can perception blitz when you're subsonic, and when most of the fighters are like average human level speeds and stuff. You can in fact perception blitz. And yeah, he also makes another remark about this, like it's just fodder. But here you see Teledio summoning spikes from the ground to charge after Sukuna. Well, Sukuna can still easily dodge these. Yeah, both Teledio and Sukuna would be subsonic, but Sukuna would still be faster by, like, I believe about 30 miles per hour, hypothetically. I don't know. It's a smallish number. That's in the double digits. But these spikes wouldn't even be able to damage Sukuna anyways. They're far too weak. So then Tilio just kept on trying, like, keep in mind, trying to press Sukuna. And like, even if the attacks landed, they would still do no damage. They would literally bounce off or just break from the sheer force and toughness of the fact that Sukuna is city block level. Budget spent on I was just trying to get this all done. And here Teledio tries to go in with his hidden shiv. All Sukuna needs to do at this point is cast cleave. Even if it's at like a lower output, it can literally shred his fucking arm. And all Sukuna we need to do is just basically punch or kick through Teledio's chest and he'd be done. Now, it's a bit of an exaggeration. I'm kind of exaggerating here, but also kind of not. So the thing is, how I see... Here's a logical way that I see how regeneration works. So, if your attack... Here. If your attack is far fucking stronger than, like, someone, or, sorry, if you're far stronger than someone, like here, far stronger than someone who has regenerative abilities, then their regeneration is not going to work, or at least it's not going to work as well. One example I can give you all is, Rengoku, Kyojo Rengoku from Demon Slayer. His cuts were so thorough and strong that they were able to stall Enmu's regeneration. Enmu's regeneration. So yeah, like, being super overpowered to the point where you literally cannot regenerate from your wounds is a possibility. Now, Teledio has vampiric regeneration, meaning he regenerates through blood. He regenerates through consumption of blood. So he could hypothetically still continue after this. All you need to do would be to just... Well, no, he wouldn't be able to. He actually wouldn't be able to because of the attack potency. The attack potency would be so strong to the point where he could not regenerate from this. We also know that Teledio has had regeneration issues in the past because C-Pop1 cut one of his arms off, and that took... spoilers, but that takes literally a while to like heal and properly like regrow its shape back back to correction. So yeah, but overall, Teledio gets stat gaps, but in like everything except speed, and he just is relative enough to Sukuna in speed, and that's it. That's all for this video. If you like the video, please like the video. Gotta gain traction somehow. If you want to see more of this content, please subscribe, so I can afford a sink disposer, a food disposer. Ours broke recently. So yeah. We have a Discord server and we have a Patreon. So if you could join that Patreon, that would be very much appreciated. However, if you are concerned about your financial stability, then do not join. Like I don't want to put you all in debt or anything. So yeah. Thank you all for watching this, and goodbye.